Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland there laying out two key priorities for next week's federal budget: healthcare and investing in the green economy. We already know what's coming for healthcare. That's the 10-year, $196 billion federal provincial health agreement. $46 billion of that is new money. The question mark, though, still hovers around green economy spending. We know the feds will need to spend big to compete with Biden's massive business subsidies south of the border, but how will they do that and exercise restraint, as the minister just promised to do? With me now, her Associate Minister of Finance, Randy Boissonnault. Hi, Minister. Good to see you as always. Thank you for making the time.
My pleasure, Vassy. Great to see you too.
I want to start off on that question of restraint, because the Deputy Prime Minister today said that your government will exercise fiscal restraint in the budget, but you're up against a lot, right? We've got spending to counter the IRA, those huge healthcare investments, affordability measures she's signaling along with the Prime Minister now, new ones for Canadians struggling with inflation. I just have a simple question. What does your government mean by restraint?
So, look, Vassy, the quickest way for me to lose my job as Associate Minister of Finance is to telegraph what might be in the budget in any substantive way. But I will say that you have put the goalposts out there very well. So, on one hand, we know that we need to keep investing in Canadians who are struggling with affordability. We need to, make good on the commitments we've made to provinces and Canadians on the health pillar, and then we have to respond to and really grow for the future with that 21st century green economy. And when it comes to leveling the playing field, or at least making sure that we're playing to our strengths and doing what we need to do, it's not like the IRA woke us up to this field. We've invested $120 billion in the green economy already, and when you take a look at what's been in our other budget documents, carbon capture, use and storage, for example, we've already committed billions of dollars to this. And I think the proof's in the pudding, Vassy, when you look at Canada's ability to land the Volkswagen EV battery plant in St. Thomas, Ontario. That's an example of Canada competing on the world stage and winning for long-term, high-quality paying jobs for the future for Canadians.
And certainly, Minister, it's great that we landed that agreement, but it also kind of brings me back to my original question, which is we don't know. We have no transparency at this juncture about how much your government had to spend to land that deal, and therefore what the overall implications are for the budget. So when I ask about restraint, it's because it seems just to an average person like me to be impossible when you lay out all the spending you're prepared to do. Are you kind of selling Canadians a false bill of goods by characterizing it as restraint?
Well, I think what's really important for us is to, when you compare with the amount that we had to invest over the last 2 to 3 years in Canadians to get us through the pandemic, there will certainly be, a change in quantum there. And I think what's important, Vassy, is to really put in the window the things that we've already done. Like for 7 years, we've been investing in what economists call the supply side of the economy. What does that mean? That means investments that allow our economy to grow. And so when we take a look at the Canada Child Benefit, when we take a look at dental benefits, when we take a look at the child care agreement that we have, all of this allows the economy to grow, and also in a way that doesn't put price on inflation. What you heard the Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister say really clearly in her speech is we want to be very careful to not add any fuel to inflation. 5.9% is still too high. That said, when you take a look at the last statement from the Bank of Canada Governor, we look at inflation being about 3% this summer, 2.6% by December. That's good news for Canadians who are feeling the pinch, and that's why a combination of those affordability measures, plus healthcare, plus competing with our American cousins, if you will, is really important. And Vassy, you're right. Like we can't match the equivalent of $2 trillion. But we will play to our strengths on electric vehicles, on hydrogen, on greening the economy, on green electricity grids, and we will do so in a way that's going to create great union jobs and great paying jobs across the country.
Minister, if I understood the first part of your answer, though, the definition your government is operating on when it comes to restraint is spending less than you did in the pandemic. I mean, you spent a record level of money in the pandemic. Obviously, there was a heightened level of need then. I'm not disagreeing with that at all. But is that the proper metric to be judging kind of fiscal responsibility going forward?
Well, I think if you take a look at the state of the economy and take a look at how well the economy is doing, Vassy, and if you take a look at what we're talking about in this budget, we can't tell you what's going to be in the budget until the Deputy Prime Minister and Finance Minister actually shares the budget with us next Tuesday. But it will be a prudent budget. It will be a fiscally responsible budget because we need to make sure that we're not adding to inflation, but we've set out the pillars very carefully and very clearly. Like, Canadians needed to see that we could actually meet the challenge of a modern healthcare system, and so we're going to lay track down for that for the next 10 years. And we cannot miss this golden opportunity, this historic opportunity to really position ourselves, whether it's critical minerals, whether it's electric vehicles, whether it's the green electricity grid, to really compete with, but also welcome the world to Canada. And so it's an important fiscal frame, and you'll see on Tuesday exactly what we mean by fiscal restraint.
And I take your point about it coming Tuesday. I just have some really quick questions for you then on sort of trying to ascertain for Canadians what might or might not happen in that vein under the framing that your government has positioned. So, for example, if you're going to still be fiscally responsible or exercise fiscal restraint, that means that you have to pay for the stuff that you're talking about, either through making cuts elsewhere or raising taxes. So, very simple question: does your government plan to add any new additional taxes in this budget?
Well, you know, my answer to that, Vassy, is going to be stay tuned for the budget. But our government has been very responsible about making sure that we had a tax cut for the middle class right off the start, but that we've also added the ability of government to respond to the challenges of Canadians. And maybe, Vassy, just for people to get a sense of what we're talking about when we're competing with the Americans, in my own home city of Edmonton, earlier this year, we announced that Air Products is going to set up the world's largest net zero hydrogen plant, a $1.6 billion investment, to which the Canadian government put $300 million into that. We've already seen other companies now build off of that particular installation. And so, coast to coast to coast, you're going to see these kind of markers put down for the future economy, all while we're heading towards net zero, all while we're making sure that we have good paying jobs for Canadians. And when it comes to what's in the budget, stay tuned for Tuesday.
Okay, because respectfully, my question was around you saying that there, I mean, your government is able to signal, for example, that there will be new affordability measures. I think it would be fair to signal that there won't be new taxes, but I understand that you don't want to do that. Just really quickly, I have 10 seconds left before you mentioned net zero. The IPCC came out with a really significant report today that basically says you have to be more aggressive. Everyone has to be more aggressive in their targets and move actually that net zero target from 2050 to 2040. Will that be reflected in this budget? Will there be more money to reach a more aggressive goal?
Minister Guilbeault and I have talked about this, and we're going to take the International Climate Change Panel recommendations. We're going to look at them. We're going to study them. I can tell you that you've already heard one of the pillars of this budget, which is to green the Canadian economy. That includes everything from greening the grid to making sure that we are able to compete on the global stage. When it comes to the IPCC's report, we'll study it, and we'll get back to you the next time we have time to chat.